change your mind, change your money, change your life. I am Coach Rob Lee Simmons, the host of this podcast, and let me be your tour guide to greatness. If I was doing any better, I would be you. Welcome to the Greatness Academy podcast. I am here with Taja Lewis. She is the owner of Rock City Tax and Notary. Welcome to the show, young lady.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so as my listeners know, we like to get all into the business. So you are a tax professional and a notary, and a mom and active duty service member. How do you balance all of that?
To be honest, sometimes I'm still trying to figure it out, but I make it work. I slave time for the army and I get the army out the way. Then I get mom out the way. And then it's entrepreneurship time, so I make it work.
So the last question I asked was, how did you get into the tax professional realm? How did you get into this arena?
Oh, my. Well, I actually did work for Jackson Hewitt. I had been doing taxes for a while and then just decided, I really like doing this. I like helping people. And I went ahead and signed up with Jackson Hewitt and I liked it. However, the long-term goal was for me to always have my own tax business. It was something that I kind of grew up seeing my aunt file taxes. She kind of did it on the side and just wanted to kind of make a business out of it.
Oh, I love it. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs really have this innate ability to create their own platform. And I very much see that in you because you have more than one business.
I do.
How did you get into becoming a notary?
So a long time ago, probably a decade or more, I was a dental assistant. This was before my army days. Okay, so notice my smile. And at the time, I was working with a couple of dentists that had multiple offices. And one of the ladies in the office was a notary. And I never even knew what a notary did. And she was just kind of like, oh, well, yeah, I notarize documents. And she was like, it'd be great to have you as one at one of our other locations. And I was like, okay, cool, no problem. Went and signed up for it, and the rest of it is history. Never knew at the time what I was getting into, but 13 years later, here I am.
That's amazing. So, for the listeners, a lot of times they want to get in specific realms of a profession. What does a day in the life of a notary look like?
Well, honestly, I love being a notary because the day in the life of that can be whatever you want it to be. So I'm also a loan signing agent. So what that means is that I have the capabilities of signing and notarizing documents for title companies when people are refinancing their home, any type of refinancing, just about automobiles. Like a lot of people don't realize it, but a notary has to sign when you go refinance your car.
Right.
So loans from the bank. Primarily. A lot of the notaries that I do as well are local. So part of my notary business is that I'm a mobile notary. And so fortunately, one of my local hospitals, it's a lot of it's a rehab. Okay. And so I get a lot of business from there because it's a lot of elderly or people with medical conditions that probably can't make decisions for themselves. So I get phone calls from them wanting me to come and notarize wills, power of attorneys, things of that nature.
No, that's a plug really, because I know that in that realm that you look like, how do notaries make money? But there's money to be made is what you're saying.
Oh, yes. And sometimes I can easily get paid. A good thing about notaries, when you work for yourself, for my state is Arkansas. There used to be a cap and there used to be $5 per signing. This is 10 years ago.
Right.
Most recently, now the notaries can charge whatever they like as long as the client accepts.
Oh, wow.
So there is no cap.
You name the price.
Correct. And so, I could easily sign just 2 pieces of paper and charge you $50. And go on about my day.
Especially on a Sunday.
On the Sunday, listen, I'll come at 5 o'clock traffic, but it's going to be, with an expedited fee.
Right.
So you just got to market yourself accordingly. You know what I mean? Especially, like I say, when you have certain family members that are in the rehab, they're needing these documents notarized fairly quickly because medical decisions have to be made.
Right.
People need bills paid. So I make myself available for those types of calls. And so I just gave my business card to one of the head nurses of the facility. And coincidentally, they didn't even have a notary that even works there. Most hospitals have a notary, they don't.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I can kind of help y'all if y'all need some more help. Just give my cards to some of y'all patients if they need, some notary signatures. I'm also within the notary realm a remote online notary. So the acronym for that is called a RUN. It's still a notary. However, with being a remote online notary, what that allows me to do is to actually notarize all 50 states and territories online. So you do not have to reside within my state for me to be able to notarize a document for you. Primary reason for doing this for me and you, the military community, the military family. Sometimes we need stuff done and on the go. And sometimes, we can't go to an office or try to call somebody. So, just email me the documents. I can find it, get it right back to you. And we keep going.
I love that. I love that because I did not know that existed. So
yes, it's a remote online notary.
Yep.
Yep.
It's in my notes. It's in my notes. So tell me a little bit more about Rock City Tax and Notary. So how did you start your business, and then how do you best serve your clients?
Rock City Tax and Notary is currently my baby. And I mean, it is in its infancy, and I'm going to nurture that bad boy all the way up until, he's doing great things, greater things. How about that?
Yeah.
I already have my certification to be a notary, and then I want to do taxes. Well, once I started researching other tax companies, just, looking, I didn't really understand how taxes and notary kind of coincide initially until I started doing more research and realized, you know what, like this is fantastic because not only are you doing taxes, but you're a notary. And I guess by having both of them, it's a one-stop shop for certain clients.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
If you are helping clients refinance some documents, then that's going to definitely be a change on possibly tax preparation documents.
For sure.
So trying to have a business where I offer multiple services that are tied within each other, it's kind of like the old sayings, a true hustler, when we got lemons, we just not going to make lemonade. We're going to have lemon popsicles, lemon cheesecake, lemon lip balm. We're going to do everything we can do with these lemons. Right. And so as an entrepreneur, that's kind of the mindset that I have. I try to use what I already have and try to enhance it to figure out what's going to set me aside from just a notary or just a tax preparer. Well, I can do both, and as many services that you can offer without differentiating your business, to me, is like the ultimate bag.
Oh yeah, and I know that you are a licensed insurance agent, life insurance agent, and I've been trying to get you to come to the other side, but you have so many hands in the pot, and I love it. But definitely, when things calm down, we're at the back, we'll pass that end date of taxes. But I know you're working on becoming an enrolled agent. So tell me about how you came into wanting to. Well, I'm pretty sure I know why you wanted to enhance your business, but tell me why you felt becoming an enrolled agent was important to your business.
I did additional research. I think as an entrepreneur, you will do yourself a disservice if you do not do due diligence in doing research in the business in which you are wanting to get into. And so as an enrolled agent, to be perfectly honest, I didn't even know what that was a year ago.
Yeah.
And so after doing further research, trying to figure out, okay, as a tax preparer, what else can I learn? And once I started researching and got more in depth into the tax industry, I was absolutely mind blown at all of the different facets that taxes come with. Most people think just file your taxes. Like, no, that is not it, just filing taxes.
Right.
And so I started Facebook groups researching and came across being an enrolled agent, which is equivalent, if not, in my opinion, a little bit higher than just a CPA. An enrolled agent, they can go before the IRS and negotiate tax debt for clients. And what better way to get, in my opinion, those six-figure earners, if they have large tax liabilities, is to be able to help them service those clients and be able to assist any way I can so that they're not giving Uncle Sam more than what they're already having to give Uncle Sam.
Right, right. And I think
Yeah.
it's the bigger piece, right, is just being able to provide your clients with that level of security to know, hey, I'm gonna do these taxes and I'll stand before the IRS, and I'm putting my name on my work. You know what I'm
Exactly. And
saying?
a
I
lot of
stand
people
on what I do.
exactly. And I take pride in that. And I, my clients know that I take my business seriously and I just don't do taxes, that I know taxes.
Right.
That's what's going to set me apart from other tax preparers that just do tax. Because a lot of people do taxes
Right, right,
until you
right,
get a
right.
letter in the mail from the IRS.
Right.
Now you're looking for somebody that know tax.
Right. Exactly.
So, you know
Exactly.
what I'm saying? So I just wanted to be able to just know what I'm doing and to just reassure my clients that I know what I'm doing. And I just want to be able to help as much as I can within my business, because some of the things that I'm learning with taxes, they are very intangible assets. I was just telling my best friend the other day, once my daughter probably hits 10, I'm going to start training her how to file taxes and do tax preparation. Like, these are things that are life skills that you can pass down that don't require a degree,
For
that don't
sure.
require for you to have to, go to a trade school.
For sure.
And so that's important for me, is for the next gen of my family to see, what it is that I'm doing. And it is my sole mission in life is to teach my kids to the next gen everything that I learned late, early.
Yeah, that's beautiful because that's actually how I got into taxes. So a lot of my listeners probably don't know, but I am, a trained tax professional. I've been a tax professional for over 18 years now. Now, mind you, I'm 38, right? So, so that's a whole lot of years. But what happened was when I got out of school, my mom, she continually told me, "Hey, you need to, to kind of discover a craft." And then she handed me a card. H&R Block was doing in-course classes. So she's like, hey, you can figure out how to create your own business. So I went and did the free class. I took the class. I actually passed with flying colors to the point where, I was one of the folks that they're like, hey, do you want to work here? We'll offer you a job. Of course, I'm, 19, 20 years old. And I'm like, I don't know how to do taxes. They were like, well, your test score say you know how to do taxes, right? I was like, oh, it's
Exactly.
just simple math. It's simple math, right? And so I've been doing it ever since. I actually stopped doing it last year just because the the trajectory of where I was going was taking me towards being a CPA. They're like, and everybody's like, just go ahead and you already got a college degree, but you probably only need a few classes to become a CPA because I have a sports management degree, which has basically all business classes with like maybe 8 sports classes. So the one class that we get that most business people don't is like fundraising and damn, I can't think of the name of the class, but it basically teaches you how to manage arenas and buildings and things like that. But
Nice.
yeah, so I will have the credits for it, but it just it's not fun to me. It's not fun. It's a lot of things I can do is fun, but it's not fun to me. So let me ask you this though, right? So Association for Black Tax Professionals, they had a conference recently. Were you able to attend that conference? And then if you did, like what are some of the takeaways that you got from it?
So I attended a conference a couple weeks ago. And man, let me tell you something. Mind blown. Okay. Mind blown. I learned about collaboration more than anything. I learned as well not to try to be everything for everybody. Because yes, I love my clients and I would love to gain more clients, but however, not all clients are best suited for how I do business.
Correct.
And so, though that was one of the most paramount things that I definitely picked up on, as well as how other entrepreneurs, how it's kind of like collaboration over competition, how different, like I said, entrepreneurs, it's everybody brings a piece to the puzzle.
Oh,
And so within that course, you had tax professionals, but it was broken out where you had one tax professional that did tax software, which is a service bureau. Then you had another tax professional that had an app for just for enrolled agents. Like she actually built the app to better assist the client so that if a client comes to you with tax debt, she already has algorithms in the app that you download, put the client's data in there, and it can show you what you could potentially save the client based upon what they owe the IRS. It's already pre-built for you. Then you had other tax professionals that went in the realm of doing C corporations and S corporations and taking some of that aspect of the game and flipping it into real estate. Then it was 5 of them total. Then you had other tax professionals that not only did just taxes, but it was tax strategies, tax planning, tax resolution. Okay, that you get those people say every year I gotta pay in every year. Okay, well, why do you have to pay in every year? Let's sit down and talk about it. Let's sit down and see what all do you have going on. So they talked about that as well. And lastly, they even tied into taxes and life licenses. So helping those clients, who can't afford life insurance, be able to sit down and do a financial management, planning, and we break out and based upon your finances, how can we give you life insurance? And potentially let's pay a year worth of premium up with your tax return. Yep. And so I was just mind blown at all of these different people that they were all collaborating together because guess what? The life license person, if they were looking and had a client that wanted to get into real estate, here's my buddy, he does the real estate and vice versa. And so they were still retaining the same client, giving them maximum services by all networking together so that that client didn't have to go and outsource elsewhere.
Absolutely.
Mind blown.
I love it. And I would say probably 60% of the people so far that I've had on this podcast that I was able to use as a resource for my clients, to including you, where I can just reach out to you and say, hey, I got a client and he needs some help with his taxes and I don't want to do it. And I think the network is beautiful because that allows you to always continually have a tool in the bag for any job. So when I come see a client, I have a guy for it. In fact, I just sat down with one of my clients who's also a person in my network. And, we sat down, we did a consultation. I gave them the bro man discount. And
I got you.
And then we sat down, we discussed a few things that they needed to know about real estate. Well, in the midst of that conversation, I know real estate agents in you name the state, I probably know a guy. So specifically, they were trying to get some work done on a rental property. Well, I was like, well, I actually know a what are they called?
Contractor?
Yeah, so a contractor. So I know some subcontractors because they were just trying to get their house painted. I know some subcontractors that can get the house painted for you next week if you need it. But that is the type of value that you bring, when you start to expand your network. I think it's kind of monumental to anything that you do.
For sure. I mean, being in the room networking, again, it's so true. It gets you places that a degree sometimes just doesn't.
Right. And I think it's it's essential because you just have more skills than you, and I ain't gonna say that you need, but you just don't have to relearn anything. Like, I'm
No.
glad I know taxes, and people that ask me a question about taxes, but I don't want to do taxes. So, I'm about to call you.
See what I'm saying? Yeah. And so right
Yes.
now I'm not doing life license. So you know what? I got a guy that does. You
Right,
know what I mean?
exactly.
So I think that that is such an awesome thing to get like-minded people within the same industry
Oh, for sure.
and that don't necessarily do the same things, but can still reach out for their resource.
So I like to get into the weeds of um kind of some of the things that you're doing. So
Okay.
let's go into taxes a little bit.
Sure.
So I like to give free game. I think I'm the free game king, so I try to squeeze out as much free game as I can,
Okay.
with my folks I have on the podcast. So, like, kind of what is the best way for folks to optimize their taxes, and kind of prepare themselves to go into the next tax season?
I would always encourage everyone, no matter what the income bracket is, tax planning.
Mm,
You know, tax planning to see exactly what deductions and what you qualify for. I've had several clients that had got certain types of repairs to their home. They didn't even realize that they could deduct it. You know, um, also this, when I say this is the time in the era right now, based on how the economy is doing, for all side hustles and all side giggers.
hmm
People who door dashing on the side, they're not realizing that they can deduct certain tax deductions with their automobile, or you know what I mean. People that well, they braid hair on the side or cut hair on the side, but still have a 9 to 5.
hmm
You know, and don't realize that certain things require supplies.
Right.
Those can be deducted, and so I would definitely encourage, people who do things on the side that as a hobby, but if the hobby turns for profit, where you're doing something, someone say, hey, I really like that. I'll pay you if you make me one. That just became, a
Right.
whole small business that you didn't even know it. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? And some people don't even realize that something just that minute that you were doing as a hobby and people are willing to pay you now for it. The IRS does accept that, because you're doing something for profit now. It's not just a hobby anymore.
Right. I think
And
that's
so,
amazing. I think that's amazing, because I know a lot of people who kind of struggle in their taxes and not understand how it works with their businesses. So, what are some things that uh, we'll say self-employed folks, business owners, entrepreneurs, what are some things that they can deduct from what it is that they're doing?
well, I think everybody has certain different deductions, but a few of them that are going to be pretty much across the board. Cell phone bill,
Mm,
even if it's a personal or a business phone, right out the gate, you have to communicate. Marketing, any type of marketing that you are paying for, even if it's you making your own flyers, paying for Etsy or Canva, free template flyers, those things can be deducted. Any type of insurances that you're paying for your business, if you have EO insurance, errors and omissions, things like that, those things that a business should have. Um, they can be deducted. If you are going to continue education classes, if you're paying for
mm,
some extra training on the side, that can be deducted as, a business expense. And so some people, they're doing these things vicariously, but not realizing that, you can write that out, you
right,
know, um, your tags, I mean, that's why I think that it's very important for tax preparers to do good interviews and get to know your clients because you want to build a rapport with them. Some people are like, well, I don't want all of my business, but I kind of gotta be your business to be able to help you. You gotta kind of tell them what you got going on,
right, right.
and I think that's just gaining the trust of your client.
No, I truly believe that. And one thing that I learned, as a tax preparer and, really in the financial room and definitely getting into business is that when you are claiming a deduction for marketing, as long as you are paying for something that has your logo on it, that it is deductible. And so that's why you see, I mean, if you've been seeing it for years and then it became popular, but the reason why you see rappers with their logo of their record company on it is
It's their
because
brand.
it's a tax deduction.
It's your brand. Let me tell you something. I am here for it. Like,
Yes.
it's your brand, you know? And I think that, you know, a lot of people sometimes you don't know what you don't know, you know?
Sure.
And I am eager and elated when I can drop a gem to a client and they hadn't been using. And so they don't need to change anything. They just need to start implementing. And so
Exactly.
we're already doing it, you know, and just to get that feedback and that response and that satisfaction, it is very humbling.
Yeah, I would imagine. Um, you know, I had a good question on here and I didn't want to let it go by.
Sure.
So as far as being a tax preparer, what are some of the most common errors that you see?
Business structuring.
Mm, mm,
Some people, you know, your business is only going to be just as successful as you want it to be. You know, um, it's business structuring. It's the people who don't manage their business properly, and meaning receipts, meaning, you know, they're not organized in regards to, okay, so do you have an EIN number for this business? Yes or no? You know, some people don't, and, you know, and that's okay. You don't necessarily have to per se, but where are you wanting this business to go? Because if we're talking about business funding, business credit, then we kind of got to get this thing structured properly, you know. Um, that and then like my side hustlers, my side giggers, that just vicariously just been doing things on the side, not keeping those receipts, not keeping up with, you
Killer.
know, and I'm like, you pay for all, like I have a lady that she does alterations for her coworkers. She's been doing it for 20 years. And they, you know, her coworkers, they pay her. But I'm like, so you realize that that's a tax deduction? She says every year. Oh, I said, well, are you claiming the alterations for the taxes? She's like, no, I've never done that.
Yeah.
She's been doing alterations for 20 years. I'm like, okay, so the supplies that you have to pay for the needle, the thread, the sewing machine, like, do you not realize that you can start deducting those things? She was like, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Ironically, she has had the same tax preparer for 20 years.
Yeah,
This tax
that's
preparer didn't know you were doing alterations on stuff.
that's
You know, things like that.
yeah, that's insane because it gets even deeper than that, right? Because not only, you know, your supplies, but again, the cell phone they call you on, the internet that you got to type up the print on, the room that you in is tax
The office
deductible,
space of the house,
the electricity that you using to use the
everything.
machine. Oh man.
Yes, the
Ah,
whole shebang. Do you hear me? Like, and I'm like, come on. I'm like, again, you don't know what you don't know. And
yeah.
that's the difference between having somebody that do taxes and somebody that knows tax.
Right, right.
All
Fact.
I can tell you. It's like, I'll get no simpler than that.
I love it. I love it. And
Yeah.
so, you know what? I definitely enjoyed your time and your information. I'm gonna ask you my favorite question of the show. I'm gonna
Okay.
ask you, what was the largest purchase that you've ever made, and then how did it make you feel?
The largest purchase I ever made was 10 years ago when I bought my first home at 23.
Ooh,
And so, you know, I was fresh off of a deployment and still green,
yeah, yeah,
specialist
yeah.
at
That's
the
how we do
time.
it.
And I had got some really good mentorship from a retired lieutenant colonel that at the time was honing on me buying a house. And I didn't get it then. I didn't fully understand. I'm like, why would I want to buy a house? I was fine living in my little luxury apartment, you know, like,
Right.
and so he just really set me down and maybe 12-minute conversation. He was like, apply for the VA home loan and find you a house. It was almost like an order. So,
Mm,
you know, at the time he was a major and I'm a specialist. So Roger that, sir. I'm gonna find a house,
Right.
like, okay. And, looking back on it, one of the best decisions that I've ever made. As a child, I grew up in an unstable environment. So kind of like house hopping from family members to family members. And so as much as my family members did their very best to make their home my home, ain't nothing like your own.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, um, that is one of the most things that I'm proud of. I've already stated now that I'm learning more about entrepreneurship and business, that my home will be in a trust. Like, it's not for sale. You know what I mean? Like, it's a
Sure.
big deal because um, I'm one of the younger generations of my family that even owns a home. And so, when I bought the home, I didn't have any children. It was just me. Now that I do have children, I take pride in them having a place to start their foundation.
That's amazing.
And so I'm here to, my sole mission in life is to, like I said, teach them, train them. Everything that I learn late, they will learn early. And, I'm going to try my best to do my due diligence to ensure that I'm getting it out the mud so that they don't have to, And so it's my I know I dragged that on, but
No, I love it.
my purchase is my home.
I love it. Hey, I really, really appreciate you coming on. I had to chase you down. I had to catch 5 minutes of your time. I even caught you in the hotel lobby. Like, I really, really appreciate your time. And it is precious to me. I think you had a lot of valuable information for my listeners, and you definitely delivered that. And I couldn't be more appreciative of your time today.
Thank you so very much for having me. And hopefully this will be, the start of one of many.
Oh yeah, for sure. I looked at the time, and then I looked at all of the questions I have, and I know that, hey, I'm gonna save these for the next time I have you on, for sure.
Okay, I like
So,
it.
yeah, for sure. And so on the show, we say that winners win, and we win when you win, and we want to thank you for being a winner.
Thank you.
All right, and we're out. Boom. Thank you for joining the podcast, and remember, change